soon after further review.
What up, what up, what up? What up, everyone out there? Back at it after further review. Ben, Ryan, Chase, you already know. I'm back in the chamber hanging out with Ben at the bar tonight for this week's show. Chase is back in Harleysville. Great week at the beach. How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good. Glad to have you back. It was weird on the other side of the computer.
I know. Now we got to get you two together so I can be on my own somewhere.
Yeah.
Although I'm still... Actually, Ben, you go visit Chase and I'll just come over to your house and
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like you guys had a good time at the beach, and I wanted to ask you guys, you guys met a famous someone. Can you guys touch on that more and tell the listeners?
Yeah. So we were at the beach, Seattle City, New Jersey, and legend has it that Eagles offensive lineman lives down there, and we heard about it all week. My dad specifically would bring it up a lot that Jason Kelce lives in Seattle. And all week we're like, okay, that's cool. Saw his house and everything. He lives like right in the middle of town. So Friday night, the last night we're there, we're walking on the boardwalk, just taking our time, and gonna go up to an ice cream shop that my girlfriend's family used to own. So to do that, we had to get back up on the promenade, walk back up. It was kind of like a process to do the whole thing. Anyways, we do it, and as we're eating the ice cream and walking back towards our car, which is towards Jason Kelce's house, my girlfriend somehow spots Jason Kelce walking the other direction.
completely blending in with the crowd.
Completely blending in. And first off, it wasn't even a huge crowd. It was really just him and his wife, making their way down the promenade. And all of us were in a conversation talking about something. Unknowing to us was walking past us and basically got all the way through. So as she brings it up that, hey, that might be Jason Kelce, we all turn around and look, and we just see, a pretty tall guy, to say the least, pretty hulking guy, shaved head, beard, dip into the arcade with his wife. We're like, all right, well, we have ice cream, but let's just walk down. It's really in the same block, maybe 20 feet from that point. So we walk down and look in. Instantly we recognize him as Jason Kelce. And we're like, okay, now what do we do? What are our options? We have ice cream, there's an arcade, and there's a famous football player inside. So we all decided to pound ice cream and just go in, and on the off chance he makes it like a quick encounter in the arcade. Plus it was close to closing time. To remind you, this was Friday night, close to 10 o'clock at night. Not really sure how long the arcade's supposed to be open at that point. Anyways, about a half hour goes by. Then he finally comes out. And this entire time that we've been waiting for him, we've been coming up with a game plan of how we're going to do it to make it not seem ultra sketchy. He's out with his wife having a good time, and we didn't want to jump in and make it seem awkward because, sometimes with celebrities, it's like, it almost seems like there's not a good time, but there's always a good time to do it in a way. You know what I mean? So anyways, it finally comes out, and we've decided what the game plan was to just walk up and talk to him. I panic and immediately default him back out and to start walking. And then our younger sister, Kendra, just sends it in, starts calling him down. And Ryan's in there too. And they're going up and get his attention, and he stops immediately. And was a very nice guy from the beginning. The second we asked him if he was Jason Kelce, he started joking with us and giving us winks. So, we kind of knew from that point in we were pretty much solid. But overall, just a great guy. We talked to him. It was maybe like a minute and a half encounter. It was pretty short, but just got to talk with him a little bit, and we grabbed a picture with him. But super nice guy. Just lived up to the name of what the brand he's built in the Philadelphia Eagle. And, Ryan, I don't know if you have any more to add, but it was just a really cool experience to run into someone who's an active football player. That was just really cool to meet.
Yeah. No, it was a wild story. And we basically were just trying to be as polite as possible without being creepy in a way. And so just going up to him, you don't want to just scream and bring in a crowd. I mean, people notice him and go up to him, but we were trying to be as polite as possible. And during the interaction, his wife was just kind of ahead. She probably knew that a crowd might come or whatever. So she was waiting off to the side. We didn't want to take a while, but one of the greatest handshakes of all time. And when I tell you this man smelled good, I'm sorry, it was just a wild experience. And I had my hand around his back for the picture, and it's just straight muscle. They were just
oh yeah,
just popping everywhere. And just like, I don't know, you see like an offensive lineman, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's a giant fat guy. No, like you just know he's not that tall, but it's just like a straight brick wall. And he was just so genuine. Like you could just feel the vibe right away. And I mean, he didn't have to stop to talk to anyone. He could have just said no. But my grandpa read an article too that he likes when people approach him. And so we're like, okay, well, now we have to do it. And it turned out to be one of like the best, craziest, nights of our lives. I don't know. It was wild. Definitely the most famous person I ever met.
Yeah. Just often like in a counter like that, not paying for it or not knowing he was going to be there. That's definitely, similar things of like probably the most famous, well-known person I ran into like that. And, they always talk about how he's an undersized center, and I'm like 6'2", 6'3". He is at least 6'4". So in the picture, he's like a whole head above me in height. So I was like, it's really weird to say he's undersized considering he's like probably 6'4". Like I used to think he was 6'2", but he's definitely not. He's definitely taller than that. And I definitely agree, Ryan. When I touched his back, it was like steel almost.
Dang,
like just rock hard. Yeah.
That's awesome to meet a celebrity though, just out like that. I think you guys touched on it when you were out the beach that they were doing some stuff with autism down there. So to run into him like that, to an Eagles guy, future Hall of Famer, like that's so cool.
Yeah. And I just heard this yesterday that he was shooting a commercial in Delaware County with a bunch of kids. It was like him and Fletcher Cox, I think.
Oh,
and they were just out in the community shooting a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, like in this park, and all these kids were coming up and they were just having a good time with them. So coming off the heels of my interaction and hearing that, I was like, yeah, it's confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, we saw his house. It's like 2 or 3 houses right off of the beach, but it's nothing huge and flashy. Like you wouldn't know that it was his house. They had nice, semi-nice cars, nice pickup truck, a nice Suburban, but like, I don't know. It's just, he's going to this little kid arcade that just like a bunch of 10-year-olds are like running around, and he just goes to the pinball machine, pulls up a stool and just goes to work for like 20 minutes. But it's just like, that's cool that he's just doing that, like a nice date night with his wife on a Friday night at the beach. Nothing crazy about it. And you could just, that was awesome. And I definitely need to get a Jason Kelce jersey now.
There you go. Christmas list item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe when we do our football picks, he'll be your guys' pick for center. But
whoa. If we do football picks, if we're going to do 5 offensive linemen.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what happens. But for now, we still got our baseball picks. And now we are at the final day of our picks. Next week, we can touch on what our AFR all-time team was, and then individually and kind of discuss all that. But today, it's the last 2. We got right field and shortstop. And I think we're going to get into it.
Yeah. When I was searching, by the way, boys, I thought shortstop was going to be loaded. Right field, holy smokes, did they blow shortstop out of the water?
Yeah.
Like,
Some of the best hitters of all time.
And you just wouldn't even think it though. Like you see these hitters hitting the ball, you're like, oh, big guys, big power or speed, center fielders, maybe first baseman, you don't know. But no, all these players were just packed out in right field, camping out, ready to slug away. And that was a loaded lineup. By far a lot of talent in there.
Yeah, I mean, you have 7 guys over 90 career WAR in right field in general, and then just that doesn't even include some of the best ones. So a lot to choose from, and I'm excited to see. I guess we'll start with right field while we're at it, huh?
Yeah, and I just want to say one last time, I hope we match. I don't think anyone's going to pick my right fielder. I did not take a guy with a career WAR over 90. I just want 2 of us to match. I'm pulling for shortstop at this point.
Yeah, we've been dancing around it this entire time, and today's it. Today's our last chance, and I'm not sure my right fielder's going to match up either, so it's really down to the shortstop.
I don't think my shortstop's matching. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'll just lead us off. We're going to dive right into right field. I went with a guy kind of, I don't know, Chase, it seems like I'm always taking pages out of your book with this, and I mean, maybe it's a chance that we match because of it, but I also went with a former Japanese legend who also came to the MLB around age 27, and that's Ichiro Suzuki.
Line drive, baseball history to have 4,000 hits. He does it in the first inning, and the Yankees come out of the dugout to congratulate him for a great achievement.
Great pick.
I'm not surprised, actually. I like it.
Oh yeah, you already know the mid 2010s Mariners are back again. Felix Hernandez, Iwakuma was a fan favorite. We talked about him in our guest the player, but I had to bring my second guy into my all-time after further review starting lineup from those teams. Ichiro Suzuki dominated in the Japanese league, over 1,000 hits, and then he comes over and he just blasts away in Seattle. Yeah, he just blasts away in Seattle, taking it by storm. His rookie season, he became the first major league player ever to win AL Rookie of the Year, AL MVP, and he won the American League batting title. And he did this his rookie year and also leading the Mariners to their franchise number of wins that year. Obviously, they didn't win the World Series, but just came in immediate factor. And there's just basically nothing this guy couldn't do except for hit home runs. He came into the league. What does he do the first 10 years? He wins 10 gold gloves. Just absolutely insane. He has some of the craziest leads and hits. 242 that first year. He had 262 hits in 2004. I don't think anyone's ever topped either of those in a season. Yeah, and there's just so many crazy stats about him. So he actually is he has the all-time highest batting average as a lefty against lefties. He hit 329, and he also hit better against lefties than righties.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
And I mean, everyone knows his famous how he's like halfway out of the batter's box as he's swinging. Just a very unique thing that you would not think is like mechanical or would ever work in the major league level, let alone little leagues. And he just purely dominated, especially against southpaws. 329 for the career. Super consistent at home, 312, away 310, at least 295 every month. You just knew he was going to go out there and he was going to get on base.
How many hits did he have in Japan?
Did you
say over 1,000?
Yeah, he had over 1,000. I think
that's crazy to me because
Dang.
if you combine his MLB and Japanese hits, he would literally be basically near Pete Rose for most all time, over 4,000.
Yes,
That's
That's
insane.
crazy.
yeah, combined leagues, I think he's second most all time behind Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Does he have any does he have any gold gloves?
Yeah,
10.
Yeah,
you
10
said,
his
right?
first 10 years.
That's out. Has anyone ever done that before?
Yes. So the only other guy that started the first 10 years with 10 gold gloves was the Reds catcher, Johnny Bench.
All right. So Hall of Famer.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
Ichiro's going to be a Hall of Fame, 100%.
Yeah.
He's not eligible till 2025.
Yeah. Also, I saw he threw out like a 95-mile-an-hour first pitch.
Holy sh-
So he's still got some juice in the arm.
That is one
yeah,
of the
and he was actually the other craziest things. He was the first ever Japanese position player in the MLB. Did you guys know that? Before him, there was no other position player that played in the MLB.
Oh, it was Hideki Nomo was a pitcher, I guess. Who else was before him? Hideki Nomo
I
was
don't know.
right, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, but that's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm just sifting through stats right now. He had a hitting streak of at least 20 games or more 7 times in his career. Yeah.
Do you guys know this happened once randomly? So the chances of you seeing it are like slim. But there was like an ESPN thing that they did on like their SportsCenter top 10. Some guy dressed up like Ichiro, legit looked like him, wore a baseball uniform to the game, went to go catch a foul ball like it was a roller, and he fell over the turf cover and onto the field, and I threw him out of the game because technically he got onto the field.
Oh my gosh.
So this guy who dressed up like Ichiro, legit looked like him, got thrown out of the game because he like went to go get a foul ball and he fell over the cover onto the field.
That's insane.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And real quick, I just want to correct myself, Ben. I was incorrect. So he had almost 1,300 hits in the Japan League. And he actually, if you count both leagues, he has 111 more hits than Pete Rose in his career.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, obviously the biggest thing is he joined the 3,000 club. and he didn't join the MLB till age 27. And I think the next oldest guy came in at like age 24. I mean, came in, went right
It's
to
crazy
work.
that he went to 27, but he still played 19 years in the majors.
Oh my God.
That's so crazy. He
Yeah,
literally played till 46. That's wild.
yeah, just
Whoa.
longevity. Just a longevity.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was, but that was Marlins, I think. Was it?
yeah,
the
he
Marlins?
went Mariners, Yankees, a couple years on the Marlins where he was still efficient. He went back to the Mariners when he was like 45, and he didn't really play much, but he was still in the league.
Dang.
That's crazy. I think I kind of slept on Ichiro a little bit, just considering like my age growing up and like knowing all the stats now and everything. Like I feel like even when he was playing with the Marlins, I wish I would have seen a game just to say I saw Ichiro play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was all over the place with my stats, but I mean, you just sift through them, and there's just weird things. You're like, wait, what? Ichiro did this? You don't think of him, and I don't even think he was that good of a defensive player.
No, that's
I
crazy.
know, yeah.
And
I
straight
don't know
gold
what-
gloves.
You forget when
What?
so he was 10. Did he win any more after that, or was that it?
No, that was
So
it.
that's the thing. Like he played 9 more years, then you kind of like forget about those other years, but like he was
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One last thing. Sorry. He's the only player ever to have an inside the park home run in an all-star game, which is
Oh my
just
gosh.
like,
Oh, that's
Like
a great
another-
highlight.
yeah.
Yeah. To show that one. It's pretty crazy. He has one of the best all-time rookie cards too. There's the Topps Chrome rookie card 2001. Him and Albert Pujols share a rookie card, and it's just like dang, they could have not done that any better. Both like all-timers.
Dang. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, and just his rookie year was I think his best year. I mean,
Yeah.
he was 27.
And like
But-
those two are going to be considered generational like greats. Like the
Oh,
two of them.
easily. And they both played for 800 years. So
True.
So crazy.
All right. Well,
Wow.
I'll go next for my right fielder. My right fielder actually pretty similar to Ryan's. You don't think of, but had some gold gloves. Or at least I feel like you don't think of him as a gold glover, but he had some gold gloves. And my right fielder is Mr. SpongeBob, who just got in the Hall of Fame, Larry Walker.
This one hit deep to right. It's got a chance. Way back. Strawberry turn. He didn't even give chase. And it's under the scoreboard. A home run for Larry Walker, his first of the year.
oh,
Larry Walker was not drafted. He always wanted to be in the NHL. Like that was what he wanted to be in because he grew up in Canada. And he played hockey till he was 16. Basically became like the third string goalie. He got cut. So then he basically decided, well, I guess I'll play baseball. So he didn't really start playing baseball until he was 17, like really learning baseball, which is crazy. Like
What?
wait, hold up. The fact that you're striving to be in the majors for any league is a long shot. He chose the wrong one and it still didn't matter.
yeah. Well, and the thing was his high school didn't even have a baseball team. So he had to play with an amateur team in Vancouver, like an amateur baseball team, because his high school didn't even have a baseball team. And he also was actually like really good friends and played hockey. Like one of his best friends growing up was Cam Neely, who's an NHL Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so he basically like didn't know how to play baseball. And there's even like a clip or two in the minors where he ran on a deep fly ball, got caught. So he had to go back. And he like was at third and ran straight across the pitcher's mound to first base because he didn't realize he had to touch all the bases going like back. Anyway, he was also he's a Hall of Famer. He won the MVP award in 1997, which is Piazza's best year too. But of course, he had a better year. 5-time All-Star, 7-time Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, and a 3-time batting title. So it's I don't really think of Larry Walker as someone who's ever good in the field. But he was a 7-time Gold Glover and had one of the best arms in the league at the time. And he was also like, he had a big career, but he also battled a lot of injuries, but he never wanted to miss much time. Like he had a torn rotator cuff, but only missed 4 games. And he still had to play in the field.
Whoa.
He was at the Rockies and didn't have a DH. And he never had an OPS plus under 100, which after doing all of these baseball things, I think OPS plus is my favorite stat.
This is our difference. I did not look at that once when picking any of my players.
So basically OPS takes a player's on base percentage and slugging, but OPS plus like normalizes like different things like ballpark factors and like adjusts it. So like a 100 OPS plus, it's like a league average player. So if you have like 150, it's 50% more. So I don't know. I really like it because it takes those other things into account, like ballparks and
I've grown to love
factors like that.
I've grown to love OPS. I have
Yeah.
OPS plus not there yet.
So okay, it's fair. But he's the first ever to go in the Hall of Fame as a Rocky, which is cool. But he had a run where his MVP season, he had 379 with 37 homers, with 49 home runs and 130 RBIs. That was his like MVP year. So he had a really good career, and he almost didn't get on the Hall of Fame. Got in the Hall of Fame in his very last year and had that famous clip where he was kind of wearing the SpongeBob jersey. It was kind of cool.
Is that why they call him Mr. SpongeBob, or what's the story behind that?
It's weird because
I'm putting you on the spot. I know.
No, his name's Larry, right? But then his parents also named one of his brothers Gary, and so all their names rhyme. So his brothers are like Larry, Gary, Barry, and something else that's like the same.
Gary,
something like that. But they all are like the same like thing. No, but I thought he's kind of underrated, and he was like one of the first real Canadian stars besides Fergie Jenkins. And so a lot of guys, like you talk about like Canadians now who play baseball, and like even Justin Morneau or like Joey Votto, they like always talk about Larry Walker because he was like kind of made baseball more popular in Canada.
I love it. I love it, Ben. I love it.
That's a great pick. I actually thought about him the entire time when I was looking. I was like, I feel like he's gonna get picked. So I looked at his page for a while.
Yeah, he was. I was excited to pick him. I was going back and forth, and I watched a little documentary on YouTube, and I ended up picking him. So he was also like a really just like good guy, like goofy on the field stuff, and like he has that incident with Randy Johnson, the All-Star game, where he like went to the other side of the plate, turned his helmet around.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah. Do you remember that? Or like seeing highlights of that?
Yeah. Oh my
God,
yeah.
So he has like that. Like even in there was an incident where it was like 2 outs and he called the ball and he didn't realize it, and he just gave a kid in the stands the ball and then just started running in, but it was only 2 outs. But like he was always just like goofing off, and like he enjoyed the game and was like happy to be on the field, and I like guys like that.
Well, yeah, not like an immature goofing off, like I don't care. Like
no, like
he's very relaxed out there and having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
awesome.
The other thing, like with his MVP year, like everyone wants to point to Coors Field. He hit out of his 49 home runs, he hit 340 and 29 homers were on the road. So like that's one of the reasons like all these guys get kept out of the Hall of Fame, Coors Field. Like they all want to point to that, but I'm happy he got in. And first one as a Rocky, still the only one actually. So
let's crack a Coors for that.
Yeah.
And a SpongeBob outfit.
Yeah. One of the many expos that weren't kept on the expos. That team could have been so good.
Oh, here we go. Pirates, A's, and Expos getting rid of all their great players.
Well, the Expos, they could have won the World Series in 1994, but then the players went on strike.
Could have changed baseball.
I will say I really wanted to pick Tony Gwynn here, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I really wanted to.
I actually, he was probably top 3 for me.
And that season, the shortened season, that will always be the what if, as far as if like the last guy to potentially ever hit 400, hit 394 in that shortened season. Could have happened. But anyway, hopefully that wasn't your pick.
No, it wasn't. That's why I was but yeah, no, Tony Gwynn was definitely one where my finger was just hovering over him the whole time, and was can I pull the trigger? And like we were saying before the lead in, right fielder position is just so loaded. It's almost embarrassing how many people there are. So I didn't want to pick somebody who's in the Hall of Fame, just because it literally seemed like the first 20 people are in the Hall of Fame, and I was like, no, I'm gonna switch this up a little bit. So I ended up picking somebody who still had a decent MLB career, maybe put up legitimate numbers, and also spawned one of the greatest baseball players of all time. The person I'm talking about is Bobby Bonds, the father of Barry Bonds.
The Giants have a man as far as second base with 2 outs. Bonds was 30 last year on the mound for the Cubs. Left field, back goes Williams, looking up, it's gone.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this pick is it's a little out there, but the reason I picked him is because he and Barry are the only two people in baseball ever to do this, according to the last time I ever checked. That are the only two people that hit more than 300 home runs and stole more than 400 bases in their careers. I
Wow.
just thought that was like an insane stat, considering, we talked about Barry Bonds' transformation, as like a power hitter later in his career, but how he was a speed threat early on. And I didn't realize like his dad was also the same way. The thing that really kind of derailed his career, though, was he was just a raging alcoholic, and he started drinking way before he got into high school. And there were times when Dusty Baker's dad would catch him drinking before high school track events and before high school baseball games. And later in his career, injuries piled up, and he just gave in to alcoholism, which was unfortunate because he was such an amazing player and had really good seasons. And if he didn't have that weighing him down, we really wonder where he could have been, considering he ended up with, 300 home runs and 400 stolen bases. And the fact he also was a 30-30 club member 5 times, and he was almost a 40-40 club member when he stole 43 bases and he hit 39 home runs. So he almost had that too.
You don't think of him just because IBS Barry kind of overshadowed him, but like, dang, that's a great career.
Yeah, and his family too. He had brothers and sisters, and all of them made it somewhat professionally in different leagues. Like his sister was an Olympic track runner. His brother got drafted in the NFL early on. So like Barry and Bobby's whole family is like legitimately insane. It might be like a powerhouse family that I never really considered before. Like I knew Bobby Bonds played in the MLB. I knew he was really close with Willie Mays. Like, so it's like, but doing more research on it, I was like, dang, I really didn't understand like the impact he actually had. But overall in his career, he was an all-star MVP, a 3-time all-star, and a 3-time gold glover. He has a 59.7 WAR, an OPS of 824, and an OPS plus of 129. So pretty decent, above average, I would say, in his career. He finished with 461 stolen bases and 332 home runs. And he was a lifetime 268 batter. So he definitely had dips in his career that they would talk about. Like he would start off super cold and then pick it up after an all-star break or something like that, and then just be lights out the rest of the year. But he played a 14-year career, not too bad overall. And he finished top 5 MVP voting twice. He was 4th and 3rd, so he never cracked that. But I would say solid overall career. Just problems derailed it most of all, I would say.
I definitely didn't see that pick. I know he's good friends with Willie Mays, so Willie Mays is Barry Bonds' godfather.
The one season when they traded Willie Mays away, he had a down season. He basically said because they traded away Willie, he like felt like he didn't have any purpose in baseball anymore that season.
Oh my gosh, is that when they traded him to the Mets?
Yeah, and then next year he came out and he was fine again, but he talked about that specifically, how that year he felt like he was just depressed and he didn't have any like reason to go to the ballpark anymore because Willie wasn't there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that kind of shows the impact that Willie had on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my pick. I knew nobody was going to pick him, so that was a pretty tough one. And he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's still up there stats wise with the all-time right fielders.
I'm just wondering how good of a season he could have had if he would have done steroids like his son. Just kidding.
Yeah, that would have mixed well with his beer and alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I hope it doesn't run in the family. Like, I hope Barry Bonds doesn't have a son that like goes in the MLB and has an issue.
I don't know.
Sorry,
I have no idea.
Chase, I really like
I don't know if he has any kids.
I really do like your pick though, Chase, and I didn't know much about him. I mean, I saw the name. I was like, oh, it's Barry Bonds' dad. I knew that much, but I didn't like. That's cool. Him playing alongside Willie Mays and stuff like that. So
yeah. And like career wise, I didn't realize he had that many home runs and stolen bases. I kind of just thought he was a average major league player, but when you really get into it and then find out they're the only 2 people that's ever done it, it's a pretty insane thing.
I use like the Jaws kind of.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Are they using that? And he's like top 25 all time right fielder.
Yep.
Like, he's not like any slouch. So
Yeah, this is Jaws is actually how I outlined who I was gonna pick. Like I used that as like, okay, this is gonna be the aggregator of like names I go
Oh,
through.
really? That's what I do too.
Yeah, just
I
because
look
it's so
at
much
the
easier to combine everything.
yeah, because then you can go down like it's a never ending number too, so you can just go down to like 150 and then go up from there or something.
Yeah, and you can literally toggle everything and just
Yep.
see where people end up. So
They're my
that's how
favorites.
he kept popping up.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So
pretty
I mean, in a loaded right field section, it was his name still stuck out for different things, you know.
Yeah. No, and some like I mean greatest all time guys like Ruth, Aaron, Musial, Clemente. So pretty stacked. And so right fielders, we have Ichiro, we got Bobby Bonds, and we have Larry Walker. So those are our right fielders. And
Ben, I thought you were going to pick Roberto Clemente.
I was thinking about it.
That just seems like a
Thinking
you
about it.
kind of player. Like the Kirby Puckett story.
I thought you were going to pick Bobby Abreu.
Oh, I almost did.
Yeah, I had Bobby.
He's also
Abreu,
higher
too.
up there than you would think.
He was.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see his name.
Also was
there.
looking at Sammy, and my main three were Larry Walker, Tony Gwynn, and Sammy Sosa.
Of course, Sammy Sosa.
But I knew I would just get hosed if I picked Sammy
course.
Sosa.
You would have gotten
Yeah.
destroyed. I would have destroyed you for picking Sammy Sosa.
At least I didn't pick Shoeless Joe
Yeah.
Jackson. Could have picked him.
Oh yeah, no, but Bobby Abreu was on there, and I was just surprised that he has so low Hall of Fame voting considering his stats.
Yeah.
And it all went up; it like doubled in the last year, but still, it's only like 15%.
Yeah, he's probably not going to get in at this point, but maybe like there's always like the committees like someday. But
Yeah, because he has really good numbers
yeah,
in all of those all timers. Because he was a power speed, like he did a lot of things.
on that note, I guess it's time for shortstops, our final position of the entire series. We hope you guys have enjoyed this so far, and we really have, and we're excited to kind of bring this to an end. And next week we'll discuss all of our top 9 starting 12s, I guess, basically. And yeah,
I was so excited to have shortstop bring us home, and then I saw the list. I was disappointed. I know I touched on this in the beginning of the show, but
another overrated Yankee.
no, I did not choose a Yankee.
No, I was because we mentioned we kind of agreed Mariano Rivera was overrated.
Oh, so overrated.
And then I
Yeah.
just look at shortstop and I look at Derek Jeter and I just think again he's overrated. But that's
Yeah, I actually realized he never won MVP.
no, he was on great teams. Like if he wasn't on a great teams, I don't think he would be as revered as he is.
Like he has everything but an MVP, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of telling. I feel like
Real quick, send to the minors, trade A-Rod, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera.
Start A-Rod.
Of course. You are obsessed with the steroid guys.
Look at his numbers. Look at A-Rod's numbers. He was good before the steroids.
yeah, I mean
I'll
you
take
still have to
three.
hit the ball.
Pre-steroid
like-
A-Rod.
Okay, who are you sending to the minors?
I'm sending Mariano to the minors, and then I'm trading away Jeter.
Wow, we are the complete opposite. I'm starting Jeter. No, I'm trading A-Rod, and I will also send Mariano to the minors.
I'll
Yeah,
trade
I'm,
Jeter for like Derek Lee.
Pretty solid.
I don't think
All right.
Jeter was that good. Maybe
All
I'm
right,
biased.
let's
I'm a Mets fan. I don't know. I just don't think he was that good.
And
Let's-
yeah,
Let's just get into the shortstops. Let's go.
I didn't pick Jeter. Just in
Did
case
you
you're
guys see there
wondering.
was a shortstop listed with the name of Bill Russell, by the way? Who
Yeah.
played in the same time frame that basketball legend Bill Russell played in.
I did see that, and it just reminded me of what happened to Addison Russell.
What happened to Addison Russell?
He was just so remember like he was just so good, and then he had some domestic. I think it was
yeah, he
domestic
like
violence
beat his
issues.
girlfriend or something, and he
Yeah,
hasn't
and
been
then he
back
just-
since.
Never got back. Yeah.
All right, I'll lead us off because I probably went with one of the, I don't know. It was just too dull for me to not pick this guy, especially with me now living where I do and getting to see the O's play as much as I do. I went with the Iron Man himself, Cal Ripken Jr.
The man of 1,000 stances leads off, rips one, goodbye. Ripken homers in his final All-Star game.
Yeah, no, absolute legend and kind of basically helped carry the Orioles for his long 19-year career and helped them be relevant in a division that's been dominated by the Yankees and Red Sox every other year, basically before and after for like 20 years. And rookie of the year, 1983 World Series ring, just a 2-time Gold Glover, but he was a 9-time All-Star and a 2-time MVP, Hall of Fame, and he's actually 6 Hall of Fame career, and he's actually 6 all-time in highest voting percentage to get in, which is pretty insane. And obviously what he's known for is breaking the unbreakable record. Saw LeBron break Kareem's record this year for most points all time. We didn't know if we were going to see that broken or not. And he broke Lou Gehrig's legendary record of most consistent games played in a row. And I know baseball isn't as injury prone as other sports, but you play 162 games a year. Like, it's so easy to take one game off. 2,131 straight games for Lou Gehrig. Not only did Cal Ripken break it, but he smashed it by about 500 games. Over 2,600 games played, and he actually sat out the final game of the 1998 season, which broke the record. I don't think he was injured.
Never gonna be touched. That's like one of the records I don't think will ever be touched.
But no one thought in the modern era that Lou Gehrig's would be broken.
That's true. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was over 17 straight years worth of games.
That's
insane.
There's no way that's gonna get touched. Like, it's just,
and that's basically. Go ahead.
Why did he sit out the last game of 98?
Oh no. Let's get Stat Guy on that real quick. See if he can find something out, because it wasn't.
It seems random. It was the last game of the season.
I know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, you wouldn't rest him at that point if you played that many straight games. Yeah, we'll get Stat Guy on that. But it's just, that's basically the only reason I picked him, because that's insane. 2,600 straight games. You're just going out there and playing shortstop and playing it at a Hall of Fame level.
it seems like he just kind of told the manager he's gonna end it, and he just wants out of the lineup.
I mean, I'm sure at the point it becomes like it probably got to a point where, I mean, like
almost
at some
unbearable.
Point, yeah, and at some point it has to end, and maybe he'd rather have it end instead of like an injury or something taking him out from like overexerting himself or whatever. But
Yeah, the backup guy must have been hype.
oh, I know.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, career WAR almost 96, over 400 home runs. He actually has the most homers of all time as a shortstop. Yeah, one of the coolest stats about him was mid 80s. Cal Ripken Sr. was actually the manager of some of those Orioles teams. And the one year they called up Cal Ripken Jr.'s brother, Billy Ripken. And Billy Ripken played second and Cal Ripken played short, and their dad managed them. So that's the first time that combo's ever happened.
Billy Ripken has one of the most iconic baseball cards ever from 1987. It's just literally him with his bat, and the barrel of the bat knob says F you.
That's
You can go look it up. It's one of the most iconic cards ever.
For one of the most
And
irrelevant
then-
second basemen.
Then they made a rare one. They tried to like black it out when they realized what happened. But
Oh, I see.
So he kind of trolled them.
yeah, it's
That's
funny.
awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. But yep, that's my shortstop Hall of Fame career, Orioles legend, and just one of my favorite stats. I love guys who play every day. I know injuries are unfortunate and not everyone can avoid them as easily, but 2,600 games straight, Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr.
Sorry, the card says F face on it, not you. So.
My
Not that
God.
it changes it, but anyway.
Did he just like write it with Sharpie or it's
Yeah.
stamped in the
No, it's
bat?
with a Sharpie on there.
That's
So-
amazing. That's actually fucking awesome.
Do you want to go, Chase?
Yeah, I can go next.
All
So
right.
I actually also picked a former Orioles shortstop. However, not a Cal
Oh.
Ripken. I went with well-known shortstop Miguel Tejada.
Second, Ray Durham at first, one out in the bottom of the ninth. And Guardado deals. And it's a drive to left field deep. Jones going back. Looking up. It is gone. It's gone. Tejada wins it. Do you believe it? 18 wins in a row.
Oh my gosh, he was in my top in my final three.
Are you kidding me? Damn.
No, he was in my.
I
final
thought there was an
three.
outside chance you would pick him.
That's
because-
crazy.
We brought up Miguel Tejada a number of times actually on the show. I can't even.
It's another steroid, guys. I didn't want Ryan to get salty at me.
Yeah, that's probably he definitely Actually, both my players today both have on and off the field issues, and Miguel Tejada definitely danced around the steroid thing for most of his career. He also possibly lied about his age and name.
Yeah, I saw
to the
that when
United
I was
States.
because I did a bunch of research on it too.
Yeah, so little sketchy cloud over Miguel Tejada, but on the field he was tremendously productive. He was an MVP, a home run derby champ, all-star MVP, 6-time all-star and 2-time slugger. So everything aside, you still have to produce on the field to do those things. So just purely picking on the field actions for this, I went with Miguel Tejada. His best season overall, and by the way, he played 162 games a few times in his career. He did it 5 times in his career, so not too bad considering he played 16 years overall in the league.
That's impressive.
Yeah, not too bad. His MVP season was this when he was in Oakland. He played 162 games. He batted 267, and
He's part of that Moneyball team too, right?
Yeah, the Moneyball team. He had 34 home runs. They really busted down the door. That was 2002 Oakland, so that was prime Moneyball years. Jason Giambi.
Chad Bradford.
I think he actually was MVP too.
Giambi.
He before. I think it was 2001, maybe.
2001, he was Giambi was second to Ichiro, actually.
Oh, yeah, duh.
But he led the league in WAR, like Jason Giambi, and he led the league in a lot of other categories. So you can make the case he should have.
Yeah, so their infield was bombers those few years. But he was batting 308, sorry, not 267. That was the year before. His OPS plus that year was 128. Yeah, not really a stolen base guy, I would say overall. He only had 85 in his career, so not much known for the wheels, but they did call him the bus because when people are on base, he was going to bring him home. So it was a pretty money nickname. And one trait for my pick'em team was that I picked nicknames, so that would definitely influence my decision at shortstop. And like we were saying, it really wasn't loaded. It was hard to pass up Jimmy Rollins considering I'm a Phillies fan at heart, and say what it is, maybe a Hall of Famer, may not be, but he definitely has a lot of moments in my life that are precious moments to me against the Dodgers in the playoffs. He was really making spectacular plays, but decided against that and chose Miguel Tejada. Like we said, a little bit sketchy, maybe did steroids, who knows, but overall, really solid career in the MLB. Definitely made a name for himself, and that's the pick.
I like it. I like that, Chase.
I really like it too, Chase.
Yeah, he was in my top 3. I'm salty that I didn't pick him, but so final pick, my guy. He is my current favorite player in the MLB, so I went with him, and that guy is Mr. Francisco Lindor.
1-0 here, bottom 4, and here's Francisco Lindor. First pitch. Lindor drives one deep center field. Back goes Weimer to the wall, and it's out of here. Number 200 for Francisco Lindor.
Oh my goodness. No, it's an okay pick. I picked JT, so you're allowed one.
Yeah, I think it's my first active player, actually.
Wow.
So
Nice.
He was drafted 8th overall in 2011. He's, speaking of nicknames, his nickname is Mr. Smile because he's always smiling.
Love that.
So he's a 4-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove, 2-time Silver Slugger, and then the 1-time Platinum Glove winner. He's currently right now 29, going to be 30 soon, but he's already got over 40 WAR, which, if he even has 7 or 8 more okay seasons. And even with the Mets, like you don't think of, it feels like he hasn't done as well with the Mets, but like last year he was a top 10 MVP finisher. He hit 270, had over 25 home runs, over 100 RBIs, had 706 plate appearances. Like he's had over 700 plate appearances 4 times in his career in the 9 seasons he's been in the league. So he's pretty like durable. He's pretty reliable. He's always wants to play and be out there every day. Main reason I picked him is because he, like, especially during the Mets recent slump, like especially, he is always like right there, like by his locker, talking to the media, like taking accountability for how he's played. He's never shying away from an interview. He's never shying away from like the hard questions. He's always respectful. And he's like a good all around guy. And he always just wants to be out there playing every day. And that's what I like him. Because, I mean, New York media could be hard, and like they're pressing you when you guys are getting destroyed every night. Like there's not every guy would just be like willing to take it, and he is. So
Oh yeah, Philly gets a bad rap. New York can get rough up there too.
So and
especially that team.
Yeah, and especially like the recent way the team's playing, he's taking it in stride. So he's definitely my current favorite player, and he's going to be in New York for a while. Even if like this year his average isn't there, his gloves still been there, and he's top shortstop as far as that. So yeah, going with Francisco Lindor to round it out.
I like it. Thought you were going to take Marco Scutaro, but
Oof, no, I don't like Marco Scutaro.
Marcus Scutaro.
Because he started with the Mets. Ugh. All right, well, shortstop, we have Francisco Lindor, we got Mr. Miguel Tejada, and we got Cal Ripken to round out our 9. And I guess I could just stop saying 9. It's 12.
Thank you, we.
I can't believe we didn't match on any pick.
Yeah, we didn't match on anything, and we didn't even talk about it in the beginning. But last week's winners, we had Mr. Shohei Ohtani as a DH. Not surprising. He absolutely destroyed the votes. Like he destroyed. He got like 75% of the votes. And then Mike Schmidt getting the third base. So
ready.
Yeah, I had the clean sweep last week, but I also think I chose the best. Like, we don't always choose the best players in every category. I'm just looking back at my lineup now. I don't know why I chose Coco Chris, but I like it. But last week, I took 2 absolute legends, current and former Philly legend. And I'm not surprised by those, but also I like the diversity. And maybe we'll get Chase a win this week.
Yeah, maybe I might get shut out of this whole thing.
Yeah, but you also picked like unique guys that, like, I mean, Ben had a couple of those, but you picked guys like I wouldn't even have thought of, and like they should still be recognized. Like Bobby Bonds is a cool pick.
You almost had Del Crandall in the very first one, just lost the home run derby.
I know that's true. I was there.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited to get all of our own teams together too, and we'll have to get that MLB The Show thing going. Also.
Yeah, we definitely need to set them up as like a tournament and play each other.
Yeah, starting hitting up baseball conventions too, so we can build our all-time teams with cards.
Baseball cards. Yeah.
Someone's got to drop a Delahanty card in a $1 box. I'm just telling you right now.
You can get like a reprint Delahanty card that's not like super expensive if you really just want to get a card. Yeah, so as we end with that, we'll just quickly touch on a couple MLB random notes. I'm going to put you guys on the spot a little bit. We got the trade deadline coming around the corner. Give me one potential trade you guys want to see happen. Doesn't have to be with the Phillies, just a trade that could happen.
I'll give you one that I don't want to happen. I can give you one that I don't want to happen right now.
Yeah.
The Angels better keep Shohei Ohtani.
Why would they keep him?
So they can make their second half run, make the playoffs, make a difference.
They're not going to re-sign him though. The Angels manager's cheap, or the Angels owner's cheap. They're not going to there's no way they're going to pay him. I don't think so.
Okay, but I want him to stay and go to the playoffs with Trout. I don't care about next year.
But like if the Angels can get my trade that I was thinking of that makes sense to me is Ohtani to the Orioles, and the Orioles give up because they have pieces to give up. They give up like Kirsten Kierstad and like a couple other guys, and like the Angels would take that, I would think, if they did a decent prospect package because they want something.
Chase, you were probably going to say trade him too, weren't you?
Yeah, I was going to say trade Ohtani. I don't really care where, but
I should not have gone first.
No, the only reason why is like it would be cool to see him and Trout play together in the playoffs, but I just doubt the Angels. And after this offseason, they barely made any they signed pieces, but they didn't again address pitching or middle relievers, and I just don't see how they can buy enough right now.
So if they're just going to trade Ohtani, why have they never traded Trout?
Well, they signed him to that contract, but I don't think they can afford to also sign Ohtani to a similar contract. Like I just don't think they can do that.
I also think Trout was like injured half the time, so they never could deal him. It didn't really make sense to.
But I just don't. I think
Ohtani on the Orioles would be gnarly.
It would be
would be insane.
If he does, I'd be so hyped because I'm going to an Orioles game August 6th, and then he would be on the team. Anyway, that's not why I would.
It definitely makes sense because of how many pieces they have, and they don't have enough room MLB wise, and they have Jackson Holiday is running up their board. So, I mean, they're going to be deep middle and field wise too.
They have so many options. And like, I think the biggest thing for the Angels too is they might try to see if there's a team that can take off like Anthony Rendon's contract. And they might take less in return if a team's willing to do that. Because he's still got like 4 years, 120 million left. And that has not panned out the way I don't think anyone thought it would. And he does have a no trade clause, but he might just, if it's to a contender, he might do it. And he'd be back in the similar area as he was in Washington.
Yeah. And Baltimore definitely has the space to do it. I mean, I don't even know what their current payroll is, but it's not a lot.
But anyway, so, I mean, the other thing is the Angels now in the last 2 seasons combined, granted, we're not that far into July, but they're 9-26 in July in the last 2 seasons combined up through yesterday.
Dang.
It's garbage.
But just, the smaller, it just seems like baseball's the worst with the smaller market teams. Like they're just always sellers at the deadline. The Angels are never good. And I know a lot of it's their ownership and this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of the day, they have millions of dollars less than the Dodgers to spend in that city, just like the Clippers do with the Lakers in the NBA. But I feel like baseball is by far worse. The Rays are about the only team that can consistently win, but then their analytics catch up with them. But I mean, I don't even like the Angels that much. I just was like rooting for them and him and Trout. But
I mean, you look at that where they're at, they're probably not going to get the division, and that the AL is so deep. Like you literally have the AL East, which every team has a winning record. Like I don't know where they're at with the wild card, but they've got to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to be back there. Also, I think the smaller market teams, don't they get a revenue share from all the bigger market and luxury tax teams?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Like Pittsburgh so there's kind of like no incentive to be better because you're still going to get extra money at the end of the year.
Yeah. So they're only actually 5 games out of the wild card. So they're not
bad.
Not bad. It's just, they gotta make a decision really. Do they want to just truck through it tonight? I also don't know Trout. He keeps getting injured. I don't know where he's at. Yeah, I think he'll get traded, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The real question is, Chase, can the Phillies please trade for a 5th starter? Just a serviceable guy. I'm done with Strom. I'm done with Bailey Falter. And now I'm done with who's the new guy?
Christopher Sanchez.
Fits pretty well.
Ben, give me his numbers. Give me his numbers right now. They're trash.
Probably like a below 4 ERA.
Yeah, but they're always playing from behind. Does he even have a win as a starting pitcher? I'm going to say he's 0-3.
He's 0-3.
He's 0-3. I knew it. What's his ERA?
3.26.
Oh, that's the bullpen. The bullpen kept him down.
I mean, he's been like it's in limited time, so that might go up, but that's not terrible, at least right now.
I mean, they literally the Phillies went through the All-Star break and then decided to go reverse rotation order to give Wheeler and Nola extra time, which was the dumbest thing ever. If you need that much rest, get a 5th guy, right?
Yeah. A guy who I'm really interested in, and I don't think the price tag would be insanely high, is Marcus Stroman from the Cubs.
I like that.
I don't think that would be high. They would.
Well, I would say compared to other guys who could be potentially moved, I don't think his would be like, do you think the Cubs would command like a top 2
he's
prospect
been like a top
him?
5 pitcher this year so far, though. That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the prospect rankings are, but I would give them 2 of the top 10 prospects right now from the Phillies organization. I'd give them Griff McGarry and somebody else, and Derek Hall, and maybe another piece.
Would you trade Rojas? Would you trade Rojas? I kind of like.
Depends. It depends on how much they would want him. If they would want him, I would try not to move him. I would try other pieces first, but I think Hall is probably expendable at this point. One of the pitchers, I think
a piece for you guys could be like someone probably wouldn't require a lot and could be a good 5th guy. He's having a little bit of a down year, but Giolito for the White Sox.
Yeah. I would consider the White Sox too. There's definitely guys out there I'm interested in. I'm just wondering how much what they're going to cost in return. Like, I think if the Phillies end up parting with like 2 pieces, I'm okay with that. Like 2 prospects, but I mean, past that, and also it's completely random. They might be in love with like your 12th ranked prospect for some reason. Like maybe he's 12th overall, but they think he's like a top 5 in your organization. So it's really random, and I don't know how other people view the Phillies top thing, but I know that probably Micah Bell and Painter, he's having Tommy John anyways. They're probably off the board. Like I would say off the table in any sort of deal, unless it's for, I don't know, a top 5 pitcher right now, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And I think, I mean, the Mets, I won't talk about them too much, but they probably should be selling, but they're also probably not going to. I mean, if they do any buying, they can't make the same mistake that they've done in the past and trade away top prospects. So, I mean, recently, obviously, like P. Crow Armstrong for Baez, like just don't do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you guys are in an interesting spot. I feel like you could afford to sell off a little bit and get younger guys in there more time.
I wouldn't mind if they traded like Scherzer. Before we're done, I just wanted to mention one more guy from the MLB because we talk a lot about some of the Japanese guys on here and guys coming in late.
Oh, I'm in.
But Yoshida from the Red Sox literally tied for the AL lead in batting average, and he has a chance to win the batting title in his first MLB season.
Yeah,
he would do like that's what Ichiro did.
Yeah, he got off to a little bit of a slow start. I remember people were like, oh, but he's definitely lit it up since then.
Yeah.
And that was maybe a month, like what I was saying, a slow, like minimal.
Yeah, no, he's been great. He's hitting, I think, 320 now, and that's right now tied for the lead in the AL.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a down year for the Red Sox, and they're like competing. So
yeah, I mean, they have an insane division too. So he's not like he's going against the slouch teams, like he's going against, really solid pitchers.
Is any of the 5 AL East teams sellers? Is anyone selling? Or are they all just going to ride it out?
Maybe
I want them all to ride it out, by the way. I want them all to.
Yeah.
Except for the Yankees.
Yeah, I guess maybe the Yankees, or I guess maybe the Red Sox could be propositioned the right way. I don't know if they have anything that would be worth.
Is Chris Sale movable?
I don't know.
Not probably for much.
I would take him as a 5th starter, Chase.
I would too. I just would worry that he would get hurt, and then you're paying him like Boston would have to eat some money on that deal.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Like if he came in at like half of what he's making now, I would live with it.
Well, especially he's currently injured, so
classic. All right, well I'm out then.
Yeah, I'm out too.
all the top story was just 5 hours ago and says Chris Sale takes his next step in rehab process. So
what is he battling now?
I don't know, dude. He is always. I mean, I used to think about Tim Lincecum and then Chris Sale and just those awkward ass arm slots, and they lasted for longer than you thought. But those arm slots just eventually going to catch up. Chris Sale had some weird injuries, but anyway, from swinging a baseball bat, we're going to swing some tennis rackets, and had a big match this past weekend, probably the biggest in years. And Djokovic went down.
I'm super hype. First off, to all our listeners out there, tennis is so underrated.
Yeah.
So underrated. Everyone hypes up golf. Tennis is right there neck and neck and has 4 amazing Grand Slam tournaments throughout the year, different surfaces, different regions of the world, and you can play it at all ages. But yes, what Ben said, the all-time Grand Slam leader goes down to a 20-year-old kid in one of the most epic 5-hour Wimbledon final showdowns you've ever seen, and I missed it.
It was amazing. Alcaraz, to be in that position at his age, to succumb to the pressure of being across from Djokovic, who is arguably one of the greatest tennis players of all time, to do it where he's won for 9 consecutive years, hasn't lost on that Wimbledon court since 2013 against Andy Murray in the finals. Absolutely absurd that he was able to take the win. And the future of tennis is bright.
Yeah. And which, by the way, I am so glad that Alcaraz is stepping up. For those you don't know, really young Spanish kid. This is his 2nd Grand Slam title now. He won the U.S. Open last year in New York. Now he won hard court. Now he dominated on the grass court. He's the youngest ever number 1 at 19 years old when he won the U.S. Open last year. And obviously not just a one and done. And I'm so happy because Djokovic got lucky. He came in with Nadal and Federer at their end of their careers. Nadal's still playing. I don't know if Federer is officially retired yet or not, but they've been in and out of a lot of these tournaments. And he's just basically cleaned up on some of these, besides the French Open, which everyone knows that's Nadal has dominated since the beginning of time. But I'm so pumped for this. Carlos Alcaraz, he has a chance. I mean, we talk about, you have your big three, right? Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, 23, 22, and 20 Grand Slams respectively, I believe. But then you have the other stars of our generation, Stan Wawrinka, Andy Murray. They only have 3 Grand Slams each. Alcaraz has 2 at age 20, and he's won on different surfaces, and he does not get tired out there. He can run forever.
We talked about him, I think it was like 2 years ago, didn't we? Before he even won the US Open.
I know, I'm salty. Ben picked him as his new favorite player when Stan Wawrinka was like shot. And I'm like, of course, this is who he takes.
I got his card and sold it before the US Open last year. Probably a brick.
Oh,
Dang.
But yeah, anyway, the future of tennis right there. And to do what he's doing at such a, we talk about like basketball players be as impressive as they are at a young age. Him at 20 years old, just crazy.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, this is like more insane than March Madness. You're by yourself out there, straight mental game, and it's not 64 other tennis players. It's 128. You have to win 7 matches. Best of 5, and that finals was 5 hours long, and they're playing like every other day.
It's got to be a little intimidating, like to be that young and to like look up in the stands and just see like some of the most famous people in the world just watching you, like because you like everyone comes out for the Wimbledon finals, and it's just like kings and celebrity is just like insane,
and everyone was rooting for him too.
Yeah, no one wants to see Djokovic keep winning.
Yeah, he's a villain.
He's kind of an asshole. Anyway.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he doesn't help himself.
Yeah, no, amazing. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm gonna have to pick a new tennis player. Although Andy Murray almost beat Tsitsipas in the second round, so
I still got some juice left.
He's got a little bit of juice left. One more big win for him, and I think he'll retire. But
nice.
But also, while we're talking Wimbledon, I want to touch. I don't follow women's as much as men's, but Marketa Vondrousova, hopefully I pronounced that right, the Czech Republic unranked player, became the first unranked woman to win Wimbledon ever. That's number 42 in the world. She won 7 matches to take down her first ever title, and 5 of them were against seeded players. Just an absolute dominant underdog run that didn't end, and she ended up taking home the crowd. She was injured last year at the time of Wimbledon, came back this year, straight underdog story, and shout out to Marketa Vondrousova. Could be my new favorite after Maria Sharapova did the roids. I stopped liking her, unlike Ben. I don't root for roided players. So this could be a new fan favorite. Wimbledon's my favorite tennis event, and 2 crazy stories this year.
All right, guys. So as we're wrapping up this show, just one more. We got to guess that player for Ryan and Chase. And this one's going to be a basketball one. So I hope you guys are ready for this.
I came out of the womb ready.
All right. Well, on that note, basketball player. Here we go. He is a current NBA player. He was a first-round pick in the 2012 NBA draft. He has played for the Blazers, the Heat, and the Bucks in his NBA career. His positions are center and power forward. He went to college at Illinois.
Illinois. Oh my gosh.
Dang, how have we not gotten this yet?
Yeah, I know.
He's a career 5.6 points per game.
Can I get a jersey number?
Jersey number 11 for the Blazers, 0 for the Heat, and 3 with the Bucks.
Oh my
That
gosh.
helps you.
I don't even know if that's helping.
Give us.
He's 7. He's a 7-foot guy.
How deep you want to go with these hints? What years did he play on the current team, or like what years?
He last played 2022, 2023 for the Bucks. He only played in 9 games though.
Oh.
His last 2 years, he has not been very active. His previous years, he's been in over 50 games most years.
Oh wait, yeah, I think I might have.
I have a guess.
Okay.
I'll go with Greg Monroe.
No.
That was a solid guess.
Oh, he's not 7.
Yeah, I'm actually just realizing I don't think my guy's 7 foot either. I'm gonna say Myers Leonard.
Yep, that's correct.
Oh, jeez.
That's correct.
Oh, oh, I love
He
it.
went to Illinois.
Myers Leonard.
He basically died
Myers
around
Leonard.
COVID, and then obviously the controversy. But
Yeah.
He did play in 9 games last year. 12.
Yeah, the 9 games is what got my brain going. I was like, oh wait, I remember he signed with the Bucks randomly. Yeah.
Nice. I'm hyped you got that. I was running out of clues.
he's like the 4th Plumlee brother who's not a Plumlee.
I almost picked Cody Zeller, but I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Myers Leonard.
Nice. So I'm glad you got that one, Chase. But I hope you guys enjoyed I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Another fun one tonight. Our AFR picks. Don't forget to vote on our Instagram, AFR Show Pod. The voting is also on Spotify as well. And check us out on YouTube. We're going to be on YouTube. All these podcasts are going to be up on YouTube. So another way for you guys to watch and listen. And as we wrap it up, we're just going to keep grinding these out, keep posting, and let us know, if you want us to talk about anything, you want to hear any questions, you want us to talk about anything crazy, we'll do it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So again, like, subscribe, and we will see you guys soon. Later.
Later.